I'm sure most of you know by now that Insomniac have recently been purchased by Sony, and that got me thinking about their future and what kind of games we might see from them. So far, the large majority of their previous work has been focused on the Ratchet and Clank series, but is it time they finally move on from the duo, or should they continue? The question I'm posing isn't whether people want to see more of Ratchet and Clank, as I think for many, including myself, that would be a resounding yes, but is the series holding them back in this day and age, and is it the best use of their talents moving into 2020 and onwards? After all, we've seen what they can do with a popular IP like Spider-Man and how well that sells, easily beating any of their previous titles by a mile, and as much as I love the Ratchet and Clank series, I feel they've taken it about as far as they can in many ways, from both a gameplay and narrative perspective. So you could argue they'd be better off working on a brand new series where they could try new, innovative things that attempts to push the gaming industry forward like Naughty Dog, creating technical and story-driven masterpieces that they never could have accomplished if they hadn't moved on from the likes of, say, Crash Bandicoot or even Jak and Daxter. The other side of the argument is that while Ratchet and Clank isn't attempting to push the boundaries of gaming forward like Cyberpunk 2077 or The Last of Us 2, it's still a much-loved series with a relatively high demand. In fact, the remake of the first game in 2016 is the best-selling in the series to date, so it's not as if it's in decline. Insomniac have also attempted to create new original IP since Ratchet and Clank and haven't had that much success, at least in terms of sales anyway. 2013's Fuse was a mediocre game that originally showed promise before it was heavily altered for the worse due to EA's input, ultimately losing all sense of originality, and 2014's Sunset Overdrive, while actually quite good, was unfortunately a commercial flop. The often forgotten Resistance series from the PS3 era that spanned from 2006 to 2011 did quite well critically and commercially, as far as I'm aware, but never quite reached the heights of PlayStation's other exclusive series and therefore was seemingly quietly shelved. With all that in mind, Ratchet and Clank has been, save Spider-Man, the most successful series since Spyro the Dragon, and to leave such a series like that behind probably wouldn't be too smart. You could also make the argument that Ratchet and Clank is a great and big exclusive series for PlayStation that's suitable for a younger audience, with games like God of War, The Last of Us, Uncharted 4, Bloodborne and Horizon Zero Dawn to name just a few, not really being suitable for that under 10 crowd, with only the likes of Knack are really filling that kid-friendly platformer role otherwise, at least in terms of PlayStation exclusives. So this is where I pass over to you. I presented what I personally think the reasons for and against Insomniac making more Ratchet and Clank games are, but I'd love to hear what your opinion is. While Sony ultimately now has a say in what Insomniac work on, they made a real point of giving their studios the freedom to make what games they want to, so the passion and creativity is there. Not to mention giving them a substantial amount of time to develop them in order to really deliver a great product. So I think despite the buyout, it's going to be very much on Insomniac whether we see more games in this series. At the very least, I would like them to produce one more final game that takes place after Into the Nexus to wrap up their story for good and leave it on a high. If there's any consolation, Sony have reiterated it's an important series to them, and Colin Moriarty stated earlier this year that he believes we haven't seen the last of the duo, with supposedly a second-party studio still to reveal a PS4 exclusive, which lined up with Insomniac, who was a second-party studio at the time. That's it for today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for a notification each time a video goes live. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.